Welcome to What I Wish I Knew at 30. Today I have with me the incredible Lowina Blackman. Lowina is a holistic crypto coach and founder of Crypto Magic, guiding entrepreneurs and small business owners to align wealth with consciousness. With a passion for quantum physics and energy healing, she integrates meditation and breathwork into her coaching to unlock financial freedom. Having retired early using Bitcoin, she shares insights on navigating money and life and the wisdom she wishes she'd known at 30. All right, good morning. Hello and welcome, Lowina, to What I Wish I Knew at 30. Welcome to the show. How are you today?
I am fantastic, Fran. Thank you for inviting me here. Pleasure.
You're so welcome. It's really lovely to see you. It's been a while since we've had a good chat, but I have to say that you were the inspiration for starting me on my crypto journey, which has been really, really good. All right, let's start with this. Imagine we're jumping in a time machine right now. You're 30 years old again. Where are you? What are you doing? And what's going through your mind at this stage of life?
So when I was 30, which is my Saturn return, and usually big thing happened. And for me, I just got married. I was in Melbourne, Australia, and just before I turned 30, I married the love of my life. Back then, I was working in fashion. That was my passion all this time. I was from a fashion designer and then grow my way up to operation manager in the next couple of years. So at 30, I was climbing the corporate ladder, just got married, bought my second house, or first apartment in Australia. I already had one in Hong Kong, but first one in Australia with my husband, living in there in Brunswick. I thought my life was pretty sorted.
So you felt you had life all figured out. You weren't winging it. What was your biggest dream at that time?
I always wanted to be married, the love of my life. I always knew that I would get married, and I always wanted to have no kids and have cats and work as some kind of creativity, artist, musician sort of thing, designer sort of thing. So at that time, I thought my dreams was pretty much done. Like I got married to my husband, and I was in fashion. I have cats, 3 cats. So yeah, I thought I had it all ready, and I was saving up for 4 houses. That was like my dream when I was younger, because looking at my grandmother, she literally become wealthy because she bought lots of houses back in the day. And so I thought to myself, well, I want to be a landlady when I grow up, even though I was a designer, but I know designer is a passion thing. And I always say the money is from the houses. So I was trying to collect 4 houses, and I got up to 2 to 3 at that point.
So looking back now, what was something you were completely wrong about at 30?
I guess I wasn't be me. I wasn't the authentic me. Looking back, of course, I realized what I was doing was someone else planned this to me that I didn't even know that I didn't actually want that life. And I also didn't know about karma, and I was climbing. I was doing some bitchy thing. Well, not bad, but like I was doing something that bite me back. So like
Tell us,
learning,
what were you doing? What were you up to?
some backstabbing, office politics, that kind of thing. Or trying to please my boss. Like I'm not necessarily like backstabbing people, but I'm trying to get out myself. And having studied NLP with you,
Yeah.
then I know that intention was so important, and my intention was lack. But yeah, that was I was completely wrong, because I thought I'm gonna climb that ladder. I must do these things. No, I didn't have to.
Exactly. Look, they say life is the best teacher, and sometimes the lessons that we learn come wrapped in disaster. So let's talk about the biggest curveballs that have been thrown at you, whether it was in business, relationships, or in personal life? What's one experience that at the time probably felt like the worst thing ever, but it actually ended up shaping? You can.
That was the same time, pretty much. I would say one lead to the other. The hardest part where I end up burnout,
Mm.
and then I didn't know. Now that I look back, it was trauma response to chase the thing that I didn't even need to, right? So I was burnout. I didn't know that. And the worst thing that I did was because I really didn't want to work anymore at that environment. I thought maybe I'll just make a babies, which is like so bad because I always know I don't want baby. And that was my husband asking, "Oh, we're in our 30s now. Shall we try?" And the hardest part was we actually went through IVF. Yeah. And it was,
I didn't know that. Yeah.
yeah, it messed up my body with
Mm.
all the hormones, operations, get the eggs out, all of that. Money's gone, 2 years gone, and then it lead me to a big fibroid down the track later because I was just on too much pharmaceutical drugs. But that wasn't even the worst part. The worst part was if I make a baby, right? I knew I wouldn't like it. My husband would be a single dad. That's number one. But number two is, what if I actually make a baby? I really don't want a baby. So I have to pretend I want a baby. That's the worst part. I people please to the moon, really. And
Mm.
10 every time I got a period, I was literally having my bubble tea, salmon, sashimi, having foot massage and celebrating by myself. But then I have to say to him, "Oh, I'm so sorry, I got period." Which I'm actually in my mind was like, "Yes!"
Wow, that must have been a really difficult time. And how did you push through that?
Well, so we kind of doing the process. And then my heart is like, "Oh, I need to, no, this is right, not right."
Mm.
At the end, I finally set boundaries. I finally we had a tough conversation and I thought I need to say it. And then we had a conversation. I was asking him like, do you really, really, really want a baby? Do you really want to be a dad? If you really want to be a father, and then maybe I can't give it to you. We already on the IVF, right? We failed a few times. And I said, if I can't make you a baby and you really want a baby, we might have to divorce, right? And that was like so tough. And then he said, no, 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 no. I just want to be with you. I thought everybody get married and make babies. Like, because all his friends, all his family, his sisters, his brother, his cousin. And I'm like, but that's not me and you.
Yeah.
That's your family, your friends' path. And then I realized he didn't even want babies. He just thought this is part of life. That was his
Wow.
program. And then I thought, holy gosh, like lucky I didn't even make the babies because none of us later we down the track, we talk,
Mm.
we didn't even want, like, I know I didn't want like that because of my own trauma. But for him, he just thought, banana.
That's what you do. That's what you do. You get married, you have children. Absolutely. And that's the expectation of the norm. And I would say that, neither of you are in that norm, are you? No.
I never fit in. Look at my hair. Like I never fit in.
Your hair's beautiful. I love your hair. I love the time you spend making sure your hair always looks amazing.
Thank you. 7 hours every 7 weeks. So thank you so much.
So if you could go back now and whisper, advice to yourself in that moment, what would you say?
I would say live your life, create your life in a love-based decision. Like always choose love. I guess back then I choose a bit of fear, like fear of missing
Mm.
out, fear of I'm not good enough, fear of if I don't make a baby, then da 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 da, da, fear of if I don't move that ladder. Like it's not love based. I know that I always want to do the luck based thing, but then my head, I was still in my head, I was still in my ego. That was my 30s. I was
Mm.
still in my ego. And that was back in the time at the element of earth. So things are so grounded and you think you're going to work, work, work. So if I have to say it to myself, like, or to anyone in their 30s
Mm,
now, live your life that you want, create it your way. Because now that I realize I am the only person in my world. If without me, there's no world.
exactly. Exactly.
Mm.
I love that. And I also love that when you actually said that, you illuminated. Like, your whole body changed when you said that. It's really that's really beautiful, and I think when we get to that space where we're actually able to really know that it's us, we are the center of our ecosystem, of our world, and when we can honor that and not abandon ourselves to actually create what everybody else expects from us, then we really become very powerful and we can really step into a world that is one that we're creating ourselves for ourselves. And that doesn't have to be at the expense of anybody else. It's just about how we feel. We're just not pulling that lack and that hole. We lose that void, we become whole. How did that challenge change the way you approach success today?
Well, now in my 40s, really, I just want to please myself now. Like it's time to self care, heal myself. And I think I slowly build my boundary to the point that I like. Take a bit of while,
Mm,
right? Like, how close is my boundary? How far can I reach? So yeah, I think I'll keep creating my 50 life, and I reckon now that even the time is different now, it's not linear. I just realized all this quantum physics, all this discover all of these law of attractions, manifestations, intentions. Then I really got to be very careful of even what I think.
mm. Especially what you think. So just talk to, for our listeners that maybe aren't familiar with like D life, just give us a little bit of a précis about, what does that mean? What does that mean to you in your world?
Yeah. So many years ago, um, I heard this theory about splitting Earth. Earth is about to split from 3D to 5D. And I was fascinating. What do you mean 3D, 5D? And there were a few kind of spiritual teachers saying similar thing were that we were in a 3D world, which is in the vibrational energy level was kind of quite low. So we were operating in like a fear base, uh, below 200. Well, I forgot the number.
Mhm.
So we were operating from like a not good enough frequency. And I didn't know conspiracy people saying that there were some elite deliberately trying to get suppress us to be fear based. And so we've been living in like a 3D fear base for a while, for my whole life, until I realized there's a 4D world, which our Earth, the mother of Gaia, is also organism that is evolving and growing and vibrating higher itself. And now that we're about to split, we already split to be honest. So the polarization is going to get more and more. So if you stay in the 3D, you basically operate in your head. You will still looking at things externally. When you switch to the 5D, we switch in and out and 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, like that until we stabilize to each which one that you want to choose that based on your decision. So the more you choose 3D, then the more you're stuck here. The more you choose 5D, the more you stay here. When you get to the 5D, you drop to the heart vibration because it's lighter. The cut that off, I forgot the word. It's lighter. And so in the 5D world, we operate in the heart center. We don't need to pretend or people please. Like we can drop our mask, drop our trauma, and then we create using that love base. It's not lack. We can create things. There's trillions of dollars out there for you to grab. The abundance of resources out there. Nature's out there. And I believe that we are actually heading to the 5D world. But some people will choose to stay stuck in the 3D. And so we are in this point of, as Bashar say, this is the two trains theory. We were on board on two trains. You can still see each other, but then we're actually going to split. So they're still around, you're still around, but then if you're not aligned, your vibration will not match, you won't see each other soon. So some friends, some family members, some classmates, some people would drop out of your life recently. I'm not sure if you have, especially now in August, September, a lot of relationships will kind of fall out naturally because their frequency is not much anymore. And that's how I'm in the 3D to 5D. And so I would love to live in the 5D world. It sounds amazing. And so I would like to observe myself, my behavior, my internal world, work at my internal office, make sure that it's
Yeah.
clean, it's detox, it's declutter, so that I can be lighter and go to the 5D.
I love that. That's absolutely so. Thinking about all that, it's very intentional. And I know you've done a lot of work on self, a lot of work on ego and the internals. If you could go back now and just whisper or give your 30-year-old self three pieces of advice, what would they be?
Was that in the question? Wait, hang on a second.
I said, I said, if you could go back now and give your 30-year-old self three pieces of advice, what would they be?
Shit, I didn't write this down. I need to think about it. Did I? Was it on the
It's okay. It's fine. What would they from?
3 piece of advice? Okay, let me think. I want to say Bitcoin.
Yeah, fair enough. How much? Oh, let's go there. Let's talk about Bitcoin. If you went back to your 30-year-old self, what would you have done with your Bitcoin?
There's no Bitcoin when I was 30. I wish
Oh,
I
it
had.
wasn't far off though, was it? How long has Bitcoin been in circulation?
So Bitcoin has been around 16 years now. It's been
Okay.
2009. Oh,
Yeah.
wait. I was just 30-ish.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I thought you were. Wow. Can you imagine?
I wish I bought $100 of Bitcoin. 1 billion right now. I would say advice to the young people now, buy Bitcoin. Bitcoin is your money, your wealth, your financial freedom. Once you buy Bitcoin, will continue, not just once, like you keep saving Bitcoin, basically. You save in Bitcoin, then you can focus on your craft. So number 2 will be focus on your craft because the money is taken care of. And so that focus on your craft doesn't mean find a job. Job doesn't matter anymore. As long as you get some money, you can drive Uber, you can do whatever, coaching, trading, get whatever fiat money and just save in Bitcoin. Then whatever you do, you don't have to care about if you're going to make money or not because money will come in Bitcoin in years' time. So then you can go study, go do your thing. And then number 3 is really self-care. Treat yourself as the most important person in your world, which you are.
I love that. And I think that's very sage advice. Look after you because there's not a lot you can do if you're sick or if you haven't looked after yourself. That's really powerful and really important, I think, for everyone to understand that is one of the most important things in life. So do you think now, like looking at the younger professionals and entrepreneurs today, do you think they're struggling with the same things that we did? Or do you think they're facing a completely different world?
I think all the young people in any generation have their own problem and difficulties. I wouldn't dismiss any difficulty from anyone because that is the difficulty of them, right? I would like to say something like, "Oh, tough it up," right? But it's not that easy now, really, because I feel like the young people challenge now is we are entering the AI and robotic era.
Mm.
And we are entering the money printing genre. And because of the 5D thingy, so many of the old system has to collapse, get worse in order to get better. I have a feeling that the earth, Gaia, as I say, is need to detox and heal
Mm.
itself. And so there's going to be a bit of a storm happening to make sure that people wake up and then, oh, I'm going to build my own future. And some people won't wake up until pain come. And so I think there'll be more pain for some people who are not ready
Mm,
to go to the 5D world yet. And those pain will slap their face. Wake up, lock base, stop working like old time. And I think their parents were probably my age, your age, were still stuck in our grandparents' age. And we're teaching them outdated programming to the young people now that it probably won't work for them.
mm, mm.
And so I think they need to unlearn what they learn and then also create that new world, which we actually don't know because we are in that singularity, technology singularity, where we actually don't know what the robotic and AI and the
No,
ASI, cut that off, the super intelligent one, AGI. So I think they have a different, and also the money is not money anymore. And so they're going to be like, feel like they're working so hard, but not going to get the heads up. Most of
yeah,
them are probably not going to buy a house. They're not going to get a stability. Well, they can, but it's more difficult than what our time, right? As I say, my
yeah,
grandmother can have
yeah.
like 4 or 5 houses.
No, look, I think that's absolutely true, and I think also, when we look at our education system and how quickly, that's kind of diverging away from, the job world and what's actually, or I don't even wanna call it the job world anymore, but employment world, because there are so many opportunities every single day. I mean, you've only got to scroll through, but I mean, if you have a creative brain which allows you to think laterally, anyone can go and find something to do that will create an income, whether it's on the internet, whether it's on Instagram, whether it's, whatever. It's actually opening that mind to possibility. And, obviously, yes, we all have to be able to read and write and do our numbers, but I think the change in the last 10 years has been phenomenal. And that's nothing compared to where we are now with the introduction of AI and what's going on there. You can have a website up in 15 minutes. I mean,
Yeah.
that is just mind-blowing.
Yeah.
And yeah, so, what should we be teaching through the education system for children to keep up with that and, like, the next generation coming through? And I think that's an incredible question. I think it's one that has to be no, there's always needed to be a connection between what's coming through education and industry, but I think that is beginning to really diverse or, what's the word? It's beginning to go in different directions. So I
Yeah.
can definitely see your analogies there. And yeah, and if you're kept in that sort of that lack mode and you can't actually see and as we said before, when you allow life to and expectations of life and parents and the norm to dictate. Thank you for sharing with us about your IVF situation because those are the kind of decisions and the kind of actions that we take when we believe that we have to follow someone else's plan for our lives. That's yeah, I mean, that's huge. That's
Yeah.
absolutely huge.
Exactly. Like when my friends, like they're having babies now. Well, not now. Their babies are 10, 12 years old now. Well, for between 5 to 15, I think. Some of them were like my friends as a parents. I know them are very old school, traditional. Like they still think
Uh,
like parents, right? So they were still struggling about how to find school and make sure that their kids are good at school. And I remember telling like one of the friend, I told her like from the baby number one born 8 years ago, and then now baby number two already. I said to her like, really don't worry about school because she was stressing out about kindergarten when she was pregnant. Like Hong Kong is a bit crazy, so she already asked me like, can I borrow your address so then I can send her child to the kindergarten in your school suburb when she's pregnant. Yeah, so that's competition. Right? And
yeah.
then I said to her, honestly, in 15 years, 18 years time, there's no jobs as we see it for your children. And there's no school to prepare them for whatever the AI prompt engineering job
Mm,
that we could have in the future. And I said to her, like, you need to train your sons the soft skill the survival
Yeah.
skill, emotional regulation, adaptation, critical
Mm.
thinking, how to
Yep.
find the truth, how to be yourself, how to not follow the norm. Like these are the skills they need to learn rather than
Yep.
academic.
I
Obviously, my
agree. I agree,
opinion
and
is
that's gonna be a huge shift. That's gonna be a huge shift because that downward trend of you have to go to the right school, you have to have yeah, I 100% agree. I mean, I know if I had my time again, I wouldn't have put my children through private school, for instance, but that was a big thing. It was you need to have a good education. It didn't s it suited some of them, it didn't suit the others. So, yeah, I think these are the things that we need to you're right, that's the word. We need to critically think and not just follow the pathway. So what's one mindset shift that completely changed your approach to success?
I like when I first heard Bashar that I mentioned before, when Bashar said, follow your passion. This is the
Mm.
life manuscript. Follow your passion. And then that is how you communicate with your intuition, how you communicate with your spirit team. At then, I thought, oh, that's woo-woo. What spirit team? Of course, now, after really talking to my team, I know there's a whole bunch of people behind me, supporting me, right? They listen to me and they whisper good thing to me. My ego is so loud. And then the good whisperers say, gentle ones. Now I got to learn how to listen to that whisper. And sometimes that whisper is the passion. Like, we want to do this, really, really want to do this right now. Excite me. Then just do that.
That's beautiful because, again, we're very good at knowing what we don't want. We are very good at overriding that intuition and allowing giving ourselves permission. I think that's giving ourselves permission to actually follow our passion. And for a lot of us, it takes time because we're on that treadmill, we're on that process of really living everybody else's life through the expectations and the values that were, that we were molded with in the beginning. So to break out of that is a really difficult place. You've got to hit some real uncomfortable places to be able to really pull that, "This is what I want.
Mm.
This is me." And I think that's, when we do that and we let go of ego, we let go of judgment, it's a beautiful place. It can also be a transitional one because it's very easy to get pulled back into a space of judgment, a space of going back to our old values because, of course, that's our comfortable place. But it's not our growth place. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I would say I will add more rather than let go of the ego and judgment, which is pretty hard to let go.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I'm actually learning how to live with my ego and my judgment
Ah,
now
nice.
rather than let go because I try to let it go and it won't
Yeah,
go. So I'm
that's
now like,
fair.
what are you saying? What are you teaching me? What am I judging myself about that I pretend I'm judging someone else that is reflecting to me? And what is it that I need to grow out of? Is that a shadow? Is that my trauma talking? Is that my fear talking? Is that ego talking? Who's talking here? So I'm learning
Yeah,
how to listen to who is talking to me in my head.
nice. And of course then also it's when you get that alignment of this is right, this is what I want, and this is something which you're passionate about, that feeling of wholeness. You have to be on the right track then, don't you?
Yeah. I guess like yeah, so like back in the day, right, when you said when I was working in that fashion, I knew I need to quit probably 5 years earlier than I did. But yeah, so I was in the fashion justify why I'm still in the fashion when I'm already know that this is not the thing that I actually wanted. But then because of all that, as you say, the outside, the title, the salary, the work trip, all the perks, I stayed for another 5 years. But now I look back, I wish I didn't, but I was too scared. to get out, because to get out, that means at that time, that means I have to like basically leave fashion that I was in like
Mm,
for 17 years
mm,
or something, right? So
mhm.
that was scary. Now I think back, it was like that last 5 year were it was just like I'm stuck in a boyfriend that I don't like, an abusive relationship, but I just didn't want to get out of that relationship. I think you probably know that by now.
Dear. It's yeah, well, and, that's a hard-earned lesson, isn't it?
Yeah, thinking that,
It's a
well, maybe if I work a little bit harder, things will change.
you know that they won't.
Yeah, because it was a systemic thing. Once I know that was a systemic thing, unless I opt out, then there's no way I can change that system.
Yeah, yeah.
I know it too late, but that's okay. That's a that's one lesson.
Exactly. And I mean, how would you if you could package that up to, to our viewers, to people listening now, what advice would you give back to your 30-year-old self?
Yeah, really think about what ideal average life that you like to create, design that life, and then reverse engineer of how you want to do it. I would say now that I look back, I thought chasing money was it, right? And then I always thought millions is uh far away. Well, now everyone has a million, but like still quite a lot of money. And now that I wish that, because I have people say, "Oh, money doesn't buy." Blah, blah. When you have the millions, most of the people who say that don't have the money, so they say it right. But then I also hear the actual wealthy people say the same thing. So I thought, well, I want to experience the wealthy part to know. And then I realized, no, I actually don't want to chase money. I want time. I want to
Mm.
collapse time. I didn't want the money per se. Not that I want to swim in it. I want the money can buy me freedom, because freedom is one of my top priority. And so I realized freedom, creativity, and fun are my three top value. Money can buy that. Money can solve money problem. And so if I know that back then, I wouldn't chase that career, because that job would never give me money, wealth. Like it's a salary, right?
Yeah,
So if I
yeah.
know now, I will invest my portfolio harder. Well, back then I was using houses. I also realized house won't get me rich too. Like I had three. I felt poor, right? Because I have a mortgage to my eyebrow.
Mhm.
So if I know now, I wouldn't buy a house for living. I wouldn't buy a house for investment. I wouldn't get a job that I hate for the salary. And I will buy Bitcoin, basically. Just buy Bitcoin. I mean, you can do other investment thing, but like buy Bitcoin is the easiest way. And then really think of how I want to spend my time. And then reverse engineer of like, okay, if I want to go nature, if I want to swim in the morning, whatever. I run this timetable in my head so many times. Wake up at this, and then I'll do this meditation, blah, 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 blah. And then how can I not work? Let me automate myself, outsource myself out of my own job. That's how I'm doing, right? I have my AI and
Yep.
VA to help me. So that now my business doesn't need me really, but it takes time to build that.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. That's brilliant. I love it. So we're just going to hit some rapid fire questions. We've been through some pretty deep stuff, and sort of explored, um, some of those areas that you maybe wish you knew at 30. What's the worst business or life advice you ever got?
Yeah, that mediocre path, I guess. The study
Yeah,
hard, get a job, get married, get a baby, get a mortgage, pay taxes and die.
yeah.
The worst advice.
I'm not going to ask you who gave that to you. If you could have lunch with any historical figure, who would it be?
Satoshi Nakamoto, the person who created Bitcoin.
And that's not likely, is it?
I know it could be aliens, it could be CIA, it could be NASA, it could be a group of people, it could be time traveler. I don't know, but I would love to meet that person or that group and ask lots of questions.
A huge amount of questions. I love that. And that's an obvious choice for you, Louina. What's a guilty pleasure you refuse to apologize for?
Stalking my ex-boyfriends.
Okay. You just said that on live air. That's awesome.
And then imagine, like, said to myself, how much you miss out.
If your 30-year-old self had a theme song, what would it be?
Well,
But not anymore. What would your 46-year-old self theme song be?
well,
Because I figure
44.
you may have thought of this.
No, didn't thought about that one. Oh, I know. Golden. We going up.
I love
I'm,
it.
I'm so sorry.
You don't have to be. My guilty pleasure is singing whenever I want to, wherever I want to, and I really can't sing that well. But I don't care whether I'm in the supermarket, walking down the street, if something comes into my head, I sing it, and my kids just go, "I'm happy." And the last question for this section, what's one thing you absolutely sucked at in your 30s, but now you've mastered?
Forgiveness to my mom. And I was holding on to anger for far too long. That hurting my liver. Yeah. And I've done a lot of work, therapy sessions, family constellations, or IFI, internal family system, to clear my own issue. It's nothing to do with her anymore. And it's me holding the grudge for 30 years. And I wouldn't say I master it now, but I'm better at forgiving myself for holding on to this stuff for this long. And so now my anger management is much better. I know that 90 seconds, I'll do something, breathe, punch, get it out, feel it, with instead of like loop in my head what I could have
Yeah.
said. So I think that is very important because I used to waste a lot of time in my head looping anger.
I love that, and the thing is, it's not just the time, it's the negative energy that develops. So, just being able to forgive, I think that's a beautiful thing. I'm really, really happy for you. Lowina, that was incredible. I know so many listeners are going to resonate with your story. I think parts of it, they're going to go, "Oh, wow, I need to understand that. I need to go and look at that. I need to go and actually do some research on this 5D world and everything that's going on." But before we wrap up, let's do a quick recap. What's the single biggest takeaway you want people to remember from this conversation?
According to you or NLP, the map is not your territory. I really love that. Once I realized we are our own world, and things that seems difficult outside were actually to reflect for you to handle something within you, that become fun. I mean, it's challenge, but become fun because if everything's smooth and say and happy, it's gonna be boring. And you choose to have this challenge to challenge yourself. We as a soul chose to come to this earth in this body with this mom and dad for this play. And I would like to say you are the director and the actor and the what's it called, casting people of your own play. And you're playing your own play and it's still developing. That's not set in stone. So I would say you have filmed many footages and you can choose which one for your next one. There's a homeless version of you, a rock star version of you, and a billionaire version of you. And you could, from any moment, when you choose your passion and your luck base, you could go to the place that you would prefer to go.
I love that. I love that. And that's where we're going to close our talk today. Lowina, thank you so much. I love that. And for everyone listening, here's my challenge to you. Take one thing from today's episode and apply it to your life this week. Maybe it's reaching out to someone who can mentor you. Maybe it's finally taking that leap you've been scared of. Whatever it is, take action. If this episode inspired you, make sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share this with someone who needs to hear it. And if you have a question or a topic you'd like me to cover in a future episode, send me a message. I'd love to hear from you. Thank you for tuning in to What I Wish I Knew at 30. And remember, you can still choose because the best chapters are still ahead. See you next time. And it's goodbye from me and goodbye from Lowina. Thank you so much, Lowina.
Bye. Thank you.